Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Today, Governor Ron DeSantis has officially signed the state budget. It is set at a record $109.9 billion. Some of the most notable measures include pay raises for state workers, recruitment bonuses for police officers and first responders, money for cancer research, and a gas tax suspension before the November election. He vetoed line items adding up to about $3.1 billion.
Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast.
Oh, wow. Guys, I must say, welcome to the show. Guys, I just had on the show just last night a gentleman that was joining the show from literally across the country, the world, right? I almost said country. Across the world. Guys, I had on the show last night a gentleman by the name of Ken, which was a former soldier of 30 years and a former cop, guys. I mean, he got into some political stuff that I was just fascinated and blown away. I mean, but guys, welcome to today's show. Happy Saturday for all of you guys. Sauce, welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy Saturday to everyone. And sorry if I'm a little rasped, but when you're behind the pulpit, it kind of gets to you. When you're kind of speaking to families, it gets to you. So when you're fighting for this country, it really wears you down.
I absolutely agree with that. Sauce, did you just see the damn intro that we plugged in? Governor DeSantis of Florida signing $109 billion.
Isn't that exciting?
$109 billion state budget. That's crazy.
That's just unheard of. Like a surplus. A state actually being a surplus.
Yeah. Now, guys, if you are trying to, understand what's going on with the show, how come Michael's not on video and how come Sauce is not on video? Well, I have to explain why we're not on video, okay? And I'll get into that right now, okay? For those who may not have realized what's going on with the show, guys, we are under a huge attack here on social media. Social media is threatening this show very severely on Facebook and now on Instagram. We were just emailed earlier today, and I'm not sure if Sauce is realizing this as well, and we'll brief Sauce into this. We were just emailed, Sauce, just earlier today on the show. Okay, producer Eric showed me the email. He briefed me in on what's going on. Our show is under a huge social media attack. Because our content is pretty much expressing a lot of misinformation. Can you believe that, Sauce? Yeah. Facebook just gave us another threat. I look at it as a threat. Another threat, basically saying if we continue to express misinformation on this show, the Patriot Angle Podcast, they are going to pull our content completely off. We're not even allowed to do basically what's called raw launchings. And that's what's going on right now. Folks, we are doing a pre-recorded show right now, okay? Which after this show will be launched to Facebook and Instagram. The reason why we're doing this, guys, is because we're getting censored and shadow banned. So that's what's going on. Saz, by the way, what the hell is going on your end, man?
Nothing's going on my end. It's on your end. You're barely coming in.
Okay. Hang on.
Michael, are you there?
Basically just do their little peon little magic, so to speak. And we're getting tired of it. So this is why we are doing pre-recorded episodes. So with that being said, guys, welcome to today's show. I want to get into this Governor DeSantis signing $109 billion into the state's budget. Phenomenal stuff. Good stuff, guys. With that being said, guys, I want to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these short words. Don't go anywhere.
Good things happen when people connect.
Great to meet you.
You made it.
Let's get started.
And Calendly is how you connect, so you can make those good things happen. Calendly makes it easy to schedule a meeting with anyone, anytime, anywhere by simply sharing a link. You create one meeting request and everyone chooses from a list of times you're available. Calendly knows when you're available because it integrates securely with your calendars. Everyone picks a time slot, Calendly locks in the meeting, and it magically shows up on their calendars. Change your mind? Rescheduling is just as easy as scheduling. Calendly handles all of your bookings, reminders, and follow-ups, so you can go right to the good part.
I'm excited.
Good things happen when people connect, and Calendly makes that easy. Calendly, easy ahead.
You put a lot of time, energy, and effort into creating your podcast. We believe you should be rewarded for that. Introducing Ads by Anchor, a better way for podcasters to earn without compromising the listener experience. There are 3 flexible options. First up, ambassador ads. Once you're eligible, you can start earning money by telling others about Anchor and your podcast. Then there's automated ads, which allows creators to tap into top brands through the Spotify Audience Network. Simply select where you'd like sponsor-read ads to appear in your show. They'll be automatically inserted and tailored to listeners' interests. And for Anchor creators with the highest listener engagement, there's premium sponsorships. We'll match you with brands that want to advertise on your show. You pick which ones to read for in your own voice. Podcast monetization is within reach for more creators and easier than ever with Ads by Anchor. Made for everyone, powered by Spotify.
All right, guys, we're back here from the show. Sas, can you hear me, buddy? A lot better?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's like you dropped, and then I dropped, and then I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, Sas, I have to apologize. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Eric decided to get a can of soda, and he basically knocked over the entire fucking mixer. Well job, Eric.
Hey, great job, Eric!
Eric, don't ever let that happen again when we're doing even a live. When we're back onto the live feature, when the San Fernando sick jerk-offs over there in California decide to get their acts together, don't ever let it happen again on live. I know this is pre-recorded, but don't. I know, I'm just joking with you, Eric. Have a chill pill. But anyway.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Wow, Sauce is getting unfiltered. I love it. But, you know, Governor DeSantis, Sauce, now is signing $109 billion, would it be, for the state budget. Now, what does that mean for the state of Florida? I'll tell you, Sauce. It means better wages for employees,
Okay.
affordable rentals and mortgages for people living in the state of Florida, and just better all time of a lifestyle for the state of Florida. That's great. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Well, that's like what what DeSantis is doing is DeSantis is making what the United States could be, but it's not, and that he is making Florida like literally great. It could be why President Trump moved there because he literally took his role model, like took his playbook, and Trump's like, "This is how you run a state. There you go. You're going to get a second term."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on. We touched on that a little bit last night with the gentleman from Tokyo, Japan. He basically said that what you're seeing in America is two-sided. And we actually have governors, believe it or not, such as Governor Ron DeSantis and other governors, right? A very slim amount of governors that's actually doing great for their state. So I applaud
Yep.
Governor DeSantis. I wish other governors would follow that. Are we seeing any other governor or leadership for that matter, Sauce, doing anything for their state? Like what's going on with your state there in Wisconsin? Is he doing anything?
He's like well, no, but he's more. Well, I shouldn't say that. If you're an illegal resident and if you are a heroin addict, he's doing wonderful things for your family. But if you're a hardworking veteran like me, you have to pay fucking $7 a gallon at the pump.
Can you believe that?
That's
Can
what
you believe that?
yeah. And I filled up on gas last night. Okay, 2.43 gallons of gas, and it was 13.56. Okay, without
How many
tax,
gallons
with
did you put in your tank?
2.43 gallons.
And it cost you almost $14?
Yep, $13.56. 93 gallons. Actually, 92.5 gallons.
And how far did you go down the road with that?
I went to my house and back.
Oh my God.
So that's what he's doing, and he's taking the money. And I'm gonna make a post about this and saying, you know what, this is. I'm like, if anybody thinks that we're doing this, like, what this whole like, hey, America's better off. No, we're just like Russia. Like, we're just like Russia. If not, we're replicating. So I'm like, why are we funding the whole Ukrainian war when we're treating our people like Vladimir Putin or the administration is?
I know, Sauce. If you guys heard Sauce on the show, he does mention Russia a lot because this is a gentleman that actually reside in Russia when he was just a small little kid, and such a story from Sauce with that. I mean, you have to get back to the original episode when he was on my show, which he went into that story. Around episode 248. He goes into depth with that story. Sas, I completely agree. We're becoming another Russia.
And
We're
Iraq.
becoming, another Iraq, another China. We're becoming another Venezuela. Like this country is becoming a melting pot. I say it over and over and over. I mean, people must think I'm turning into a broken record. But, that's great what Governor DeSantis is doing for the state of Florida. Like I
Yep.
mentioned just before, I was in the state of Florida not too long ago visiting my daughter about a few months ago. And I could tell you, I felt like I was in another country, Sauce. I was like, is this America? Like there's so many freaking freedoms and liberties in this state. Like, wow. There
Yeah,
was no
there's no buying
mask
time.
mandates. I could sit in a restaurant without being dictated to put a mask on or seat 6 feet away from one another. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or another thing is that you don't have to pay BLM tax like you do in Wisconsin, which is 59 cents.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it makes sure it goes. Actually, no, but it helps people buy large mansions in California. That's what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, and the whole. Okay, so there's another state that I'm kind of looking at. Okay, South Carolina and Oklahoma are kind of okay states.
Wait, what are the two states again, Sauce?
South Carolina and Oklahoma.
Oh, I almost thought you said California. I was like, what?
Oh
Okla-
no.
Oklahoma, yeah. Oklahoma is like that old school type of principle of America.
Yep.
I love that. Yeah. And then South Carolina, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, Lindsey Graham state. Yeah. Another great
Yeah.
state, you know?
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
see, and the whole thing is that you see these states, like for example, you see Florida, and then you also see Mississippi and Alabama. All these like really hardcore patriot conservatives that have the backing of President Trump that like helped him and his administration through the state or through the COVID pandemic. It's paying off. You know, you look
Yeah.
at, I mean, Texas. You look at Texas. Texas isn't really. I mean, it's getting off the deep end with Texas. I hate to say it.
Texas is not the conservative Lone Star state anymore. It's becoming
As it
very
was before.
liberal.
No. Yep.
Yeah, it's becoming
And
very liberal.
Abbott's.
Now you understand, Sauce, what I was saying, right? Like a couple episodes back when you were saying, what, Texas? Yeah, Texas is
Yeah.
becoming very liberal. Now you understand why.
Yeah, and Abbott's becoming more of a soft rhino.
Yeah,
And it's sad
yeah,
to think because if you think, I mean, at least you know what DeSantis is doing right now with the illegal immigration? He's busing them all the way back to Florida, or he's busing them back to Delaware where they belong.
yeah,
You know, while the whole thing is that if you're really if you're really running the state like really good and you're for the people of Texas, you would do something on the border wall. Like you would actually ask help from other states to fund and finish the border wall and ask and request other states to deploy their National Guard to protect your border, not bring in millions of people like over and say, well, whoops, well, we blame Biden. But no, it's you. It's
yeah.
Abbott's fault. That's the problem. He doesn't have any balls. Pardon my
Nah,
language, but
nah, he doesn't have any balls. Doesn't have any balls at all. Sauce, hold that thought. I got to get to a new sponsor here on the
okay.
show. Guys, for those who always wanted to possibly get a good offer from Amazon Music, guys. Just this month, starting this month, I believe it. What's the expiration date, Eric? The end of this month. Okay, so the end of this month. Thank you, Eric. You can now have unlimited access to over 90 million songs. That's right, on Amazon Music. The platform is growing since it's became available, right? So for unlimited access to over 90 million songs, you can have an offer on us, guys, free for 30 days. Your first 30 days are free on us, and you can cancel anytime after that. So if you feel that the platform, the app is not for you, cancel it. You're not breaking my heart. You might be breaking Amazon's heart, but not my heart. But for 30 for 30 days, guys, you can get Amazon for free. Go over to getamazonmusic.com/Patriot Angle Podcast. I know the folks who are seeing this on Rumble, guys, are going to see the actual plugin that I plugged into the show. But for those who's listening to the audio podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Google, Apple, or Amazon Music, or even Audible, we're now on, right? Go to getamazonmusic.com/Patriot Angle Podcast. You're going to get the first 30 days on us. How about that, Sauce? That's tremendous, ain't it?
Well, that's fantastic. That sounds like a bargain deal to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Sauce. Go get Amazon for free for us. You know, you get it for free on us. There you go.
Yeah. It's called giving back to your viewers.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm a big, huge advocate for that, you know. Also too, guys, we also have a another promo code here. For those who possibly are in the e-commerce business and you're trying to find a good platform to sell, Amazon, another great company. A lot of people are like, "What? Amazon, a great company?" Well, yeah, they're not too bad, right? They got a little twitches in their business dealings, but they do have somewhat of okay platforms. Head over to Amazon, guys, and you can sell on Amazon with the company Helium 10. Now, Helium 10 is now an exclusive sponsor here on the show. Helium 10 just reached out to us, guys, just about a week ago and said, we like your podcast. We heard you, Michael, Jimmy, and Sauce on the podcast. We think you're going to be a great asset to our company. Helium 10 is in partnership with Amazon for those who are in the e-commerce industry. If you head over to helium10.com, use promo code Patriot10, and you're going to get this, Sauce, 10% off forever. Yeah, you heard me.
Dang.
You heard me.
Yes.
10% off forever using our promo code Patriot10, and you get 10% off the monthly membership fee with Helium 10 for those who choose to use Helium 10 as their e-commerce network of selling their products through companies such as Amazon, Walmart, and other platforms. Use it, guys. It's phenomenal. Great stuff. Great stuff. I do have another promo code, but I don't want to bore the listeners. I'll get into that right before the show ends. You're not going to want to miss this last promo code because it's a doozer, guys. So, Sauce, let's get some things, man. Like, how's everything going over there? I see you just finished up a series, right? Your summer series.
So we're continuing on the series, and kind of mixed guests. So right now, if anyone's tuning in right now, I'm telling like my life story. And so we just finished the first episode of how I came to America. And it's very interesting. It keeps viewers engaged. And so I think during the summer series, it's going to allow me to open up so the viewers can think of, oh man, this is why he thinks this way. Or this is what he was warning us against, and all that. That's what we're going for. And our summer series is going to end in Atlanta. But before that, we have to go to before that, we have to have another trip. But we got a couple trips lined up. But, well, I don't know about any trips lined up because the way that gas is going, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like taking money from like a candy store, but like on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Atlanta thing. For those who are not understanding what Sauce is talking about here on the show, you want to enlighten the listeners just what's going to happen in Atlanta?
What's that?
I'm not sure if the people are, sometimes you get new listeners that listen to the show, right? And they haven't really got to understand what you mean by this, right? Like your last part of the summer series is going to end in Atlanta. Like, can you tell the listeners and elaborate to the listeners like what you mean by Atlanta?
Oh yes. So I'm going to officially interview the founder and creator of the Patriot Angle podcast, Unfiltered, in Atlanta, and 28th through the 31st of August. We're going to have a sit-down conversation in studio together, where we're going to think and we're going to bounce ideas off, and we're going to make sure that we make a positive impact on the world. So with this summer series, it's going to end in Atlanta with a great Michael Gardner, I'm excited. I can't wait to interview.
Yeah, it's going to be good stuff, guys. Sauce is going to be in studio here with myself,
Eric and Alicia.
Alicia and Eric. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. Going to try to get Eric on camera. He's a little shy. So yeah, you're a little shy sometimes, Eric. Going to try to get him on camera. Not promising anything, folks. But Sauce is going to be in studio here of Unfiltered Patriot Productions here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to sit down. We're going to talk some ideas. We're going to get some strategy points, brought across the table. And Sauce is also going to be recording his show here in our studio here, in our production company here. We're going to give him pretty much the floor, when he's here for the 3 days. So, that's just something that we're giving back to Sauce. He's a great advocate on the show, and we're going to allow him to use our studio for his own show. Remember, God loves you, and I'll meet you at the finish line. This guy, I'm telling you right now, guys, if you don't know Sauce, right? If you haven't seen him, he's been on camera here a few times here on the show. You're going to see up close and person of just who Saucelin Temison is all about, right? Through his show here in Unfiltered Patriot Productions. And Sauce is going to give his heart out for his show while here in Atlanta for his own show. So that's something we're giving back to Sauce. We're allowing Sauce to do this because Sauce, not only is he a huge Christian advocate for the whole spiritual community of not just the United States, but throughout the world, he's a great advocate for conservative freedom here in America. And we do believe that he does need a platform and a base, Sauce. And I truly say that from the bottom of my heart. We truly believe that, yeah.
Because, well, the reason why, did you ever know why I started the Remember God Loves You, Not Me at the Finish Line? Did I ever tell you what started that whole thing?
You never told me, but I do remember listening to one of your podcast episodes of the summer series already. And I want to remind you, I don't think you might want to say that just yet. You might be giving a spoiler alert on my show here, because weren't you supposed to say that in like series 2 of it or something? I mean, I don't want to remind you of your own show, Sauce.
No. Well,
you're more than welcome to give a spoiler on my show, but it's on you, sir.
Oh, absolutely. No, well, I mean, I'm going to say it differently on my show, but, because of series 2, the episode 2, I'm going to talk about how I came to Wisconsin and my Wisconsin life. But, so the reason why I started the podcast called Remember God Loves You is because when I was paralyzed from the neck down, and I got really sick when I was overseas, I had no functionality whatsoever. And so long story short, when I went back to America and I started getting better, and I could start getting in my wheelchair and stuff, I would wheel around people's room praying for them and just spending time with them, and even when I was at the acute rehab facility, I would do the same, and I would impact people's lives. And, and so then after I would leave the room, I would say, "Remember, God loves you," and I'll meet at the finish line. Because most of the time they were older people, and so we didn't know if they were going to make it or not. So that's why I wanted to give them the assurance. So then
Okay.
I'm like, how about that? So I'm like, I almost died. I almost crossed the finish line. So I have to give back, and I have to make sure people are encouraged. If they're in the hospital, if they're listening in the hospital, if they're like going through depression times and hard times, there is always somebody to look forward to. There's always encouragement people can hear and stuff, instead of all this negativity of podcast, instead of all these negativity podcasts and people telling, "Hey, I'm better than you are," like Joel Osteen.
Oh God, don't get me started with him, Sauce.
No, don't get me started with him either. He makes the Christian faith look appalling. And I'm not a fan of him whatsoever. And neither of all these big mega pastors, because all these mega pastors, here's what I'm noticing. Okay, they aren't quite as personal as you think they are. And for all these pastors and stuff, when they do these podcasts and stuff, I do podcasts and I give out my personal cell phone number for people to reach out. They want help. They just want a person to listen to. That's what makes me different from other podcasters that like talk about God and talk about Christianity, is that I give my best heart out, and I want to make sure that they are better off than I am. And I want to do my due diligence and say, okay, what can I help with and how can I help you? And I'm always, I can always listen if you want me to talk to. That's why I've noticed that how I'm different. No wonder why I'm gaining traction, and no wonder why I have officially been accepted on Podbean.
What's that, Sauce?
Did you catch that last thing?
Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know if your viewers have Podbean. Podbean has officially accepted my content because I'm growing and expanding. So they like, okay, you know what? We see that you're growing, so we're gonna allow your content to officially be on our platform.
That's awesome. Yeah, I heard you're on Podbean. Sauce, did you get that message I sent you earlier today? With the whole Amazon Music.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you reached over to Amazon Music yet, or?
I haven't had time. I'm like sitting in the parking lot outside the hotel where I'm supposed to be just kind of. I've been so busy, Michael. With running dish crew and just like absolutely, I'm like burning both sticks at both ends and stuff. So I'm actually out of school and I'm actually on a getaway, just a 2-day getaway, so I can relax, so I can come back tomorrow afternoon ready to work. And so, I mean, see, and that's the whole thing is that when you love this country so much and when you want people, when you want a better people, you're going to sacrifice your time. So I got to take time for myself and I got to relax. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
hear
mean
you.
by that, right?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. You know.
So that's why I'm excited to go to Atlanta, and that's why I need 3 days in Atlanta to kind of uh, be in somewhat of a conservative state, not in a communist Russia 2.0 state, because that kind of gets that kind of gets old really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, and for the listeners here, before we depart here, because we're basically it's a little bonus episode. I wanted to get into the whole Ron DeSantis, which is such a developing story here. Huge breaking news for the great state of Florida, which I call it shouldn't be called the Sunshine State, Sauce. It should be called the Freedom State. They should rename that.
Yeah, or
Let's write a
MAGA
letter.
state.
Yeah, no, the only MAGA state, well, yeah, it is. It could be called the MAGA state,
Yeah,
with
because
Donald
President Trump
Trump.
lives there. Yeah,
Yeah, Mar-a-Lago, yeah,
yeah,
in Palm Beach, Florida. But it really should be called the
the Freedom
Freedom
State.
State. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
let's write to the congressional leaders there in Florida, and let's put a petition in, right, guys? Right, you heard it on my show here. Let's put a petition, and let's try to see if we can rename that state the Freedom State, because we're seeing such greatness come out of that state. You
Yeah,
know
and and Michael, you know what we should name Wisconsin officially?
what's that?
We should name it Russia 2.0.
I knew you were going with that. I knew you were going with that. Eric is laughing. He's like, I knew Sask was going to go with that Russia 2.0.
Yeah,
You know,
get rid of Wisconsin.
we're gonna, yeah. Eric is like, we're gonna have to do a private sale on PatriotUnfiltered.com. It'd be a private sale meaning that Sauce and only people that Sauce knows can purchase this, unless Sauce gives the approval to put it on public scale.
Yeah,
Um,
just put Russia 2.0 state and
yeah,
put
we're
like a
gonna have
picture
to
of
make
Wisconsin.
merchandise for Sauce with Sauce's picture and Sauce the analysis here of the Patriot
Uh,
Angle, and we'll have to make like a mug or a T-shirt where we'll have Sauce in the front, and in the back we'll put like, Wisconsin Russia 2.0. You know,
yeah,
I'm sure that would sell like hotcakes. I mean,
it would. Well,
Sas, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the show here, but we just plugged in. We've had it on for like the last couple of minutes now, where you can actually join Sash, follow Sash on True Social, get all his amazing content right on True Social at Sauceman2024. That's his official True Social handle. Follow him on True Social, Sauceman2024.
and on as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Podbean, and so
Yeah, you're growing, Sash. You're
I know,
getting there,
isn't that?
buddy.
Hey, you and I are both growing because there's a movement going, and it's a good movement.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great movement.
Yeah,
It should be looked as a great movement. Who would want to live in a movement like this, or who would want to live in a miserable, depressing state of mind? I don't know. I'd rather
yeah,
live in a great movement, you know?
yeah. Well, anyway, we kind of joke around and stuff, but I mean, we're making a positive impact, and I love it.
Yeah.
You, Jimmy, and I, and Eric, and Alicia, and stuff. All of us are a triple trio, not to mess with.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know Eric here and Alicia, are behind the scenes type of guys, and they're the producers of the show. They keep the show alive, and I
Yeah,
applaud you. Thank you very much, guys. But before we depart, Sas, I did promise a person that we follow here on the show. He's a good contributor of the show. He comes on the show every now and then. PJ Agnes of Archangel Protective Intelligence. I always love giving credit to where it's due. Follow PJ on Instagram, guys, and he's still on YouTube. God willing, they haven't pulled the plug on him yet, but he's still on YouTube. You can follow him on YouTube, Archangel Protective Intelligence. Here's something we plug in. It's a short little bit, and then after that, we're gonna close it out, and and give you our show notes. But check this out, guys. This is from PJ Agnes of his content.
My name is PJ, and I'm the founder of Archangel Protective Intelligence. This month we have been talking about privacy and surveillance. We, of course, can't have a full discussion about that without talking about the device that spies on you in your very own pocket. I'm, of course, talking about your phone, and while we could talk about many different aspects of it, let's talk about spyware. I noticed some spyware on my phone a little while ago because it came with adware and there were ads popping up on my phone all over the place. But any change in performance could indicate spyware. There are tons of apps that will detect and clean up spyware. You have to be careful about what Wi-Fi you connect to. You have to be careful of getting sketchy links in your email or your text. You used to need to click on these links to be infected. Now you just need to receive them. You don't even need to click. Keeping your system updated does help, but it's like an arms race where one side works on security and the other side keeps working on new ways to break that security.
Like I said, guys, I promised PJ I would plug that into the show. He's a great friend here on the show, and he's a great friend of mine personally. PJ, I love you, man. Don't lose the fight on what you're ever trying to do. Continue the great fight, and we applaud you for your stuff. Sauce, thank you very much for coming on the show. I know we did a little early tonight, but anything you want to tell the listeners before we depart, sir?
Well, I'm just looking at the airport. I'm in Madison right now, and so I'm just looking at we have an international airport and stuff, and so, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. No, so I just want to say, I want to say thank you to all the listeners out there, truly from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you just for allowing us to have you guys educate of what's really happening, because it's important that we educate you guys so you guys are prepared. If anyone were to ask you, or if anyone were to ask you what's really going on, you are fully educated because of us. Because we take hours and months researching these topics, and so some of us dive in really deep. Some of us, still dive in, but not as deep as others. But anyway, our goal is to educate and to try and make you guys aware so you guys can be prepared for what is to happen. And with all this in mind, God wins. We will win at the end. And remember, God loves you, and I'll meet you at the finish line.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I'd like to announce to this this upcoming Tuesday night, guys. You're going to want to check out a very, very good show. It's going to be an interesting show. For the first time ever, guys, I will be inviting a person that supports the leftist agenda. Yes, this is very brave for me to even bring it on my show. Me and Eric have sat down numerous times here on this show before we came up to a decision to even bring this gentleman on the show. At first, we thought it was a bad decision. And then we came to a conclusion where it would be a very interesting decision to bring him on. Now, folks, I am going to warn you that this show may be not suitable for even people that are into my unfiltered content. Now, this show will be pre-recorded on purpose for the intention of Facebook not being able to shadow ban it or censor it. Okay, so it will be a pre-recorded show. Okay, even on Rumble, we're doing this a pre-recorded on purpose for intention of social media not taking it down. The show will be very unfiltered, very raw, and it may offend some people. This gentleman is a leftist, and it does not support conservatism one bit. Just letting you know. The reason why I'm having him on my show is because I would like to have the listeners understand what the people on the left support. I think it's a good thing, right? I mean, I don't know, Sauce. I think it's a good idea, to bring a person on the show to pretty much, to get that insight view on, what goes through their mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What makes them tick, and why they support this certain candidate, and why they support like all the wrongdoings, and how come they're still asleep while everything's crumbling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. With that being said, Sauce, thanks very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. And you're tuning in from your car, you said? Wow, thank you.
Yeah, hey, that's dedication.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. We'll see you this upcoming Tuesday.
Patriot Unfiltered. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an unfiltered Patriot Productions. Please follow us on Facebook at the Patriot Angle Podcast and Instagram at Patriot_Angle_unfiltered. Also, you can hear every episode on Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also check out our website, PatriotAnglePodcast.com, and also our unfiltered merchandise, PatriotUnfiltered.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.